Hey everybody, I'm Coach Rebecca Smith, the founder and director of Complete Performance Coaching and the Perform Happy community. Here for day two, find my window here, of the Successful Sport Reentry video series. We were live yesterday talking about a couple things. I'll recap that in a minute. I'm just going to make sure that we are sharing this into the Sport Confidence Accelerator group. That's where all of the discussion will be. Give me just a moment to share this to my group. And also I'm on a couple minutes early so that you guys can find it. So hold on, here we go. Sport Confidence Accelerator. If you're not already a member of our free Facebook group, please join. That's where we give tips, we give tricks, mental strategies, and we've got a whole bunch of awesome sport people. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I can't talk and share at the same time. Awesome sport families that are in there that want to support you and your athlete. So, all right, here we go. We are live in the Sport Confidence Accelerator, and let's get going. And today I figured out how to share my slides. So show me in the comments who you are, where you're from, what your sport is, or your level if that applies, so that I can know what sort of examples to give today as I talk lives. If you're a figure skater, let me know. If you're a gymnast, if you're a cheerleader, if you're a basketball player, whatever you are, let me know. And if there's an athlete here, or if it's parents or coaches. And the exercise that we're going to do today is for athletes. So hopefully we've got some athletes among us, and let's get started. So like I said, this is our second day. So if you missed yesterday, I'll recap it real quick. I talked a little bit about the ingredients of resilience. There are 10 things that you must have in order to be able to bounce back when things are hard, when you are quarantined for 3 months, or when you have an injury, or when you have a bad competition, or just one of those bad days. If you have those 10 things really solid, you will be able to be that bouncy clown that just comes right back up with a smile on its face. Every single time you just keep getting back up. And it's the difference between being a ball that bounces, that's resilient, and a Play-Doh that just goes bleh, like, ugh, setback equals I can't even. And then your practice is over, or your season is over. So I want you guys to be bouncy balls, because life is going to happen, right? Life happens. And we want to be able to just get right back up. Okay. And then the other thing we talked about yesterday was that having healthy self-worth is a critical make or break when it comes to confidence. And I don't mean just like, the confidence of like walking around looking like you know what you're doing. I mean the type of confidence that is unshakable. And this we're going to talk a little bit more about tomorrow. That kind of confidence that even if you have a bad day, even if you didn't sleep, even if your coach yelled at you, even if there's drama on your team, you stay confident. It's unshakable. And self-worth is one of the 3 key ingredients for that. All right, so now I want to give you guys a quick quiz. So grab a piece of paper, grab something to write with, and you're going to rate yourself on a score of 0 to 2 on each of these 5 things. So you're going to end up with a score between 1 and 10. The first question is, how well do you handle pressure? If you freak out and fall apart and you become totally inconsistent, you would be a 0. If you're kind of inconsistent but not chaotic, you might be a 1. And if you are totally in your element when pressure is on the table, you would be a 2. Okay, the next one, how well do you rebound from failures? So you can look back, and when you make a mistake, do you easily jump back up and go, let's try it again. Let's learn from our mistakes and go forward. That'd be a 2. Or maybe you're frustrated and it lasts a little while but doesn't kill your whole day. And then if you're a 0, you might be more like, I failed. I'm the worst. I can't believe this happened. What is the point? And it takes you maybe a day or 2 to get back to where you were before, or longer. All right, the next one is, do you persist in the face of difficulties? So are you the kind of athlete, or even parents, you can ask yourself this, that goes, this is hard, I quit. I want my mom to do my homework. I don't get it. This is too hard. That would be a 0. If you're a 1, you'd go, all right, this is hard. I'm gonna try. Oh my gosh, you might still have some negative thoughts about it. You might still want to give up. You might end up not giving it your full effort because it's challenging. And if you're a 2, then you're like, bring on the challenge. Bring on the difficulties. I know this is going to make me better, and I know that my competition isn't doing this. All right, so give yourself a number there. Do you stay positive in a crisis? So if something's going sideways, are you the one who's like, oh, I knew this would happen. Oh my gosh, this is not good. Oh no, my mental block is back. Like, do you go to the drama side of things? Or are you more like a little panicky, but trying to hold it together? Or are you the one who is just easy peasy, smooth sailing, confident in your ability to handle that crisis? So rank yourself 0 to 2 there. And then the last one, do you have a good attitude about problems, pressure, and mistakes? So when those things come up, a problem, like practice is closed, or there's a meet in 2 weeks and I don't have my skill right now, or I'm so frustrated with this thing that I keep messing up. Are you in the negative side? Are you sort of neutral, like trying, or are you the one who sees the silver lining and goes, you know what? Hey, I get to get stronger. I'm at home in quarantine. I get to get better at my mental training. Are you the one who goes after it and is like, all right, we got to meet in 2 weeks. That means I got 2 weeks. Do you see the silver lining? Are you optimistic, or are you more in the like, oh gosh, I can't believe I'm having to deal with this? All right, so give yourself an overall score of 1 to 10, and then put that in the comments. What score did you give yourself? And you can sort of look like this will turn into a percentage, right? Some of you might have a 0, and that's okay. That's going to give you an indication that there's definitely some room for growth here. If you're a 1, good job. You already have some skills. Okay, Allison says that they're an 8. Great. So you've got some skills in place. If you are a 10, amazing. I want to hang out with you. You are the people that I want to be around. That good attitude that just rolls with it. Life knocks you down. You get back up with a smile. You try it again. You bring your teammates along. You're like, bring on the crisis. I can handle it. What do you need me to do? That's the people that I want in my life, because that's the person I want to be. So hopefully you are surrounding yourself with those people if that's who you want to be. If you have a bunch of friends who are those chaos, drama, negativity people, or maybe even a coach or a grown-up that are like that, you might want to go, that's interesting. I think I want to hang out with the people who are more mentally tough. All right. So we've got a 4, room for growth. Now ask yourself, where is your room for improvement? Where do you notice the most room? Maybe it's your attitude. Maybe it's you don't rebound so quickly. Maybe it's that you give up easily when things get really hard. Maybe crisis will rattle you. But look through this list and decide which one of these do I want to get a little work into? Where do I have room for growth that I want to focus in on? So yesterday we looked at those ingredients of resilience and we picked one. This is what I can do better at. So you always want to be, this isn't about beating yourself up. This is about gaining awareness. And all mental training starts with awareness. If you don't realize you're doing it, you can't change it. And if you don't realize you're falling a little short, you can't improve it. So just check in with that. And then we are going to do a little exercise. This is one of my absolute favorite exercises that I like to do with athletes when there is pressure. So remember, one of our mental toughness questions is, how well do you handle pressure? So we're going to do an exercise that will boost you. If you already handle it perfectly, then amazing. But I don't know about you, but I think pressure is one of the biggest issues with confidence. Every November, so gymnastics, I work a lot with gymnasts. The optional gymnastics season starts in December, January. Every November, people are like, I lost all my skills. I'm falling apart. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't do my backward series anymore. November, it's like, we call it nervous November around Perform Happy, because everyone gets real nervous because there's this pressure. And so I want you to be able to handle that pressure like a champ. And here is how we're going to do it. So I'm going to take away, well, I guess you can keep my screen up, right? Why not? While it's there, I don't want to mess it up. Okay, so this is an exercise I call pressure versus challenge. So I want you to think of a time in your life, in your sport career, where you were feeling a massive amount of pressure. Maybe it was that you had just had, a couple of successful events. There was one more to go, and it was the one that you're afraid of, and you had to get a certain score so that your team could qualify for X. You come up with it. But think of a time where like maybe you had to get a certain skill by a certain point, otherwise you weren't going to move up to the next level, or you weren't going to test, or whatever your pressure situation is. Go ahead and type that in. What is it that puts extra pressure on you? What type of situation? Oh my goodness, I have my tiny helper here again, which means that my large helper is not doing his job. Okay, there she goes. If you saw yesterday, I had a little intrusion by my 2-year-old. Anywho, Anyway, so here we go. Pressure versus challenge. You've come up with a situation in the past where you felt a massive amount of pressure. What we're going to do is actually close our eyes and experience this again. So if you are driving, you're going to need to watch the recording. Make sure that you're in a place where you can safely close your eyes and imagine. And adults, feel free to join in on this because it's something that can really change your ability to handle pressure, okay? So go ahead and close your eyes. And you're going to start with a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And do a little body scan. Keep breathing. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere in your body, your neck, your shoulders. Scan down all the way through. And with each out breath, allow yourself to get a little bit more relaxed. Now imagine that you're right back in that situation, feeling the pressure. You are about to experience it again. Notice the thoughts that are on your mind as you find yourself back in that situation that puts so much pressure on you. Notice what you're paying attention to. Are you talking? Are you by yourself? Are you in the performance arena? Set the scene. Try to see it in full detail. Notice what happens in your body when you go to this time. Maybe you feel a little nervous. Maybe there's a little tension. Maybe you feel it in your stomach. Focus in on the pressure. What's at stake? Maybe you don't want to disappoint somebody. Or maybe you just really don't want to fail. Maybe it's really important that you succeed in this moment. And then go through that situation, feeling it, noticing your thoughts, noticing the pressure. Notice what it does to your heart, what it does to your body. Notice what you feel, what you see. And as that memory comes to an end, notice what that was like. And then you can slowly start to open your eyes when you're ready. Okay, and put something in the comments to tell me, what was that like for you? Did it feel great? Did it feel awful? Did you get tense? Did you get nervous? Did you get butterflies in your stomach? And think about, how was that performance? Was it your best? Was it awesome? Was it not your best? Did you choke? So think back through it. How did it go? Okay, next we're going to change that pressure into a challenge. So we're going to redo that memory. You just went through the memory just as it was in real life. Now we're going to change it a little bit. We're going to take control of that memory. And I want you to think about that situation. And instead of focusing on, Okay, let's see. So Allison says it felt terrible. My performance was not the best. Okay, that's what I commonly hear in this scenario. People, they feel pretty bad. They feel kind of tense, like things aren't going as they should, or just not working like they should, and their heart's pounding, and their body's kind of taking over, and it's just like, get me out of here. Okay, so when the pressure's on, that's the natural reaction of the body and the brain. So what we want to do is look at that situation again, but think of it like a challenge. So instead of focusing on the pressure, you're thinking of, okay, this is a challenge. Like, I want to go to this college, and that college coach is standing at the end of my beam. Either it could be pressure that crushes you, or it could be, oh my gosh, what an amazing challenge right now that I get to rise to. So I like to ask my athletes this question. Are you competitive? Would you say you're competitive? So put in the comments, are you competitive or not competitive? Now, for myself, when I sit down to play a board game with my family, I am out for blood. I want to win. I love competition. And also, I would rather play against like my nerdy uncle who's also really good and really competitive, because if I beat him, ooh, it feels so good. You know, and you can ask yourself this, would you rather win against an easy team or against a hard team? You know, the hard team, of course. Would you rather get an A in an easy class or in a hard class? Some of my best college courses were the ones that I barely scraped out an A, and I earned that A, and I love that A. Okay, let's see. Yes, it felt terrible. All right. It felt tense and really upset. I really overthought and messed up that day. That's commonly what happens when pressure comes in. Okay. But if you're the kind of person who would rather get an A in a hard class and who would rather beat the state champion than, like, you know, some kid who just showed up that day, if you'd rather win the hard thing or do the hard thing, then you can confidently say, I like a challenge. I like a challenge. It feels so much better to do something amazing than something that's like, meh. All right. So anyone who chooses the sports that I typically talk to, you like a challenge. You would not be a gymnast or a figure skater if you didn't like a challenge. You'd go like, I don't know. I don't even know what you would do, but you definitely wouldn't pick that. Okay. So you'd be like the knitting club, whatever. No offense to anyone who loves knitting, but like, you wouldn't be a gymnast or a figure skater or a swimmer or, you know, an all-star cheerleader if you didn't like a challenge. So with that in mind, let's just say you love a challenge and you're going to go back into that situation with that in your blood, in your bones, in your mind. I love a challenge. I want to reach this challenge. You know, in a pressure situation, you're like, I need to, I have to. Oh gosh, I better not. In a challenge situation, you're like, hey, I want to. This would be cool. Wouldn't it be amazing if I performed well in front of that college coach right now? Wouldn't it be amazing if we beat the undefeated team? Wouldn't it be amazing if I stuck my routine? Let's try. Okay, so instead of those pressure thoughts, we're going to go back in and relive that memory from a challenge mindset and see what happens. Okay, so again, we're going to get comfy. Take a couple nice deep breaths. Allow yourself to get a little bit more relaxed into your chair. Notice if you have any tight muscles and just breathe it out. And now we're going to rewind back to the beginning of that memory. And you're walking in feeling excited. Maybe you still feel the butterflies, but there's this feeling in you that you want to rise to that challenge. It's a challenge. It's going to be difficult, but that's why it feels so good to go and try. Notice what you see. Notice what you pay attention to as you focus on that challenge that's in front of you. Notice what your thoughts do. And as you begin, go after that challenge. Go get it. Go rise to it. Notice what it feels like. Notice what you see. Notice what you're paying attention to. Notice what your body can do. And as you wrap that memory up, take a moment to notice, what was that like? What was different? Okay, I see in the comments, I like challenges, but I dread them also, if that makes sense. Yes, because it might feel like there's pressure. So if we can completely shift you from pressure to challenge, take out that have to, need to, that sort of frantic grasping for a certain outcome, and instead step into that want to. How cool would it be if? That would be awesome. What if? What if? And so it's basically, instead of going, what if it goes wrong? You're going, what if it goes right? That would be awesome. Just that little shift. What did you guys notice? When most people do this exercise, and there's no right or wrong way to experience this, just so you know, all mental training is going to hit you in the way it's meant to, because our brains are all different. Our minds are all different. There is no one size fits all for mental training. But this situation typically people will notice, wait, I did my routine so much better. I was so much more confident. I was less nervous. I wasn't thinking as much. I just did it. I trusted it. I had more fun. So as you go back into practice, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, the pressure, my season is starting, if you're a figure skater, your season's starting like last month. Well, obviously it didn't start last month, but it could have, it should have, it would have. So now you're like, I'm supposed to go compete now? There's so much pressure. Okay, Allison's saying, I felt a lot more confident. It made the performance much better, and the outcome was better too. Yes, that's what happens. And now I've used this exercise on elite gymnasts. And just this exercise is enough to take you from like choking under pressure to having a sort of lightness about you. When you walk in, being like, I want this. That would be fun. And it's not you being like, I don't care, whatever. You care, you want it, but you don't need it. That goes back to yesterday. You don't need it in order to be okay. You're already okay. You, just as you are, with your flaws, with your failures, with your mistakes, with your bad mood, you're good. You're good enough. And then you can go after a challenge, because that would be awesome. Okay, I felt way more confident and I reacted more naturally. It was more fun. See, look at that, you guys. Just one word, switching one word is enough to completely change the experience of competition. So as you go back to practice, see it as a challenge. Like, okay, I'm in California, so our state is barely opening. So we could be like, it's not fair. Florida and Georgia are open, and those kids are already getting all this practice. And they even have a private lessons for months, and wham. I can be like, okay, so if I go out and win nationals from California, that's even better. Like, how amazing would that be? So you go in and you face that challenge. You're like, okay, my hands want to rip into a million pieces, and my wrists hurt, and my back hurts, and everything is hurting because I've been out for so long. That's a challenge that I'm gonna have to stay in tune with my body. So go after it with that in mind, and then here are your action steps. So just like yesterday, I want you to love and accept yourself no matter what progress you're able to make. So if you have a terrible day, you make zero progress, it's okay. You don't have to love yourself anyway, because you know what? It's gonna be like this. Any re-entry, any uncharted territory, you just have to be okay with whatever progress you can make today. And then view it as a challenge and rise to it. And then I'll be back tomorrow for our third day. And tomorrow we're talking about confidence. So I am going to give you another piece of one of those three things that make your confidence unshakable. All right. Thank you for being here, and I will see you again tomorrow. You guys can email me if you have any questions that you want me to address tomorrow, or generally through various live things in the Sport Confidence Accelerator group. My email is rebecca@performhappy.com. I'll see you soon. Bye.